Welcome to rumor season, my friends. Yes, it doesn't change the fact that here we are on the holiday break. Hope you're enjoying time with friends and family, eating well, relaxing even better. The Montreal Canadiens off until Friday as they get set to embark on yet another lengthy road trip, coming off a loss in Columbus that ended the team's longest winning streak of the season. They had won 3 in a row before running into the buzzsaw that was the Columbus Blue Jackets, so much for the run. But included in that loss to Columbus on Monday was Jake Evans. Jake Evans behind the back passes to Joel Armia. Jake Evans scoring on breakaways. Jake Evans having a season. Jake Evans, after 34 games, has 8 goals, 13 assists for 21 points. Good enough for 4th best on team scoring. He's a plus player, playing almost 16 minutes a night. He scored 2 shorthanded goals. His shooting percentage, very high, hovering around 26%. He's a 28-year-old unrestricted free agent. He is right now the most interesting player on the Montreal Canadiens, and it's really not that close. What are the Canadiens going to do with a 28-year-old pending unrestricted free agent? Well, I'm going to tell you what they're going to do. They're going to have nonstop Jake Evans trade rumors swirling, and there's a whopper swirling right now involving the Vegas Golden Knights, who are looking at Jake Evans hard, and Vegas isn't the only team looking at the Montreal Canadiens' depth center. Again, 28 years old, on pace for over a 50-point campaign in his walk year. He is an unrestricted free agent. If he gets that far and the Canadiens either move him or don't, and sign him or don't, I have a hard time believing, impossible time believing actually, that they lose him for nothing. One of the rumors going around right now, and a mock trade that's been floated around for a couple of days, is a package of players coming to Montreal in exchange for Jake Evans. Matyas, Sapovaliv, a 2025 second-round pick, and a 2026 fifth-round pick. And when you break it down, it makes a lot of sense. And I don't know anything about Sapovaliv. I know next to nothing other than what I've read from trusted NHL scouts. And the deal does make sense, especially from Vegas's perspective, because this is a team in the Western Conference that's ready to go on a pretty deep run. They want to win another Stanley Cup championship. And I do believe, I've been pretty consistent here, Jake Evans is the type of player that you want on your team because Jake Evans can help you get to a Stanley Cup. And as I've mentioned consistently, I just don't see the timing being right between Montreal and Jake Evans. So Vegas can bring in Jake Evans in this mock trade. The Montreal Canadiens can get themselves a pretty interesting player in Matyas Sapovaliv. He's a 6'4" center. He was drafted 48th overall in the 2022 draft, and he's currently playing in the American Hockey League. And let's take a look at his numbers quickly. Matyas Sapovaliv from the Czech Republic, 203, 6'4", big-bodied center. Yes, his numbers with Saginaw, where he spent 3 seasons on the Ontario Hockey League, don't blow your hair back, but they're also not terrible numbers anyway. He was drafted 48th overall. This young man has an exceptionally high ceiling, but one of the weaknesses that I've read about when it comes to Sapovaliv is the fact that he's not very consistent. But how many 20-year-olds do you know that are very consistent and can be relied upon? So yes, after a 26-game sample size, he's got 6 goals, he's got 11 points, room to grow, right? But on the positive side, from what I've read from scouts that have followed Sapovaliv, that have followed him from the Ontario Hockey League, and then drafted into the NHL by Vegas, 48th overall again. Apparently, Sapovaliv, renowned for his exceptional playmaking. He's got incredible vision and has a very good pass, especially the first one where it creates opportunities. Good at puck protecting. It helps when you're over 200 pounds and 6'4" and thinks the game at a very high level. Now, what happens when you talk about a 6'4" over 200-pound player? Chances are he doesn't move that fast. And the other knock on, like a lot of young players, is not that consistent. But on the surface, I love this deal for the Montreal Canadiens because I think it remains consistent with what Ken Hughes has done. Whether you're looking at Alex Newhook, a Kirby Dach type transaction, I like this move. I think it gets the Montreal Canadiens a little bit of a security blanket for the just in case. And you know what the just in case is? Kirby Dach. What if Kirby Dach doesn't pan out? What if Kirby Dach's future with the Montreal Canadiens isn't that is a top 6 center, a top 2 center for the Montreal Canadiens? That's a problem. It's why he's the biggest X factor. We've talked about that already a few times here together. So when I look at this on the surface, I like the deal for the Montreal Canadiens. One of the other things we're hearing about Jake Evans and the rumors swirling are the Colorado Avalanche. Apparently, Colorado's kicking tires on Jake Evans. So make sure you keep it locked right here to the Sean Starr Show on YouTube for all the latest around the Montreal Canadiens pending unrestricted free agent Jake Evans. But in the here and now, I kind of like this deal. Sapovaliv, right now a property with the Vegas Golden Knights, big 6'4", 203-pound center, drafted 48th overall 2 years ago, rumored to be in the mix in a possible transaction, a 3-for-1. Canadians get the player, they get 2 picks. Jake Evans goes the other way, and watch out for Colorado. So we're just getting going, my friends. Jake Evans is having a season. Hit me up in the comments. Like, he's on pace for over 50 points. He's a 28-year-old. I mean, how many more kicks at the unrestricted free agent bag is he going to get for Jake Evans? This might be the one time where he wants to secure generational wealth for the Evans family. Hit me up in the comments. Right now, though, enjoy a conversation between me and my friend Mitch Gallo as we talk about, you got it, Jake Evans. Does he fit in to the future plans of the Montreal Canadiens? Enjoy. Juraj Slafkovsky called him the Montreal Canadiens' Connor McDavid. Jake Evans replied to that comment by saying, yeah, Slav's not the brightest guy, so we'll just leave it at that. Jake Evans, man. Jake Evans is having a season. Mitch Gallo, he scored a beauty of a goal, goes wide, tries to slow the game down, ends up scoring on Lyon. He is having a year. He is an elite level shorthanded player for the Montreal Canadiens. He is 4th in team scoring after 33 games. He's got 7 goals. He had 19 points. He's a pending unrestricted free agent. He's 28 years old. I have not budged. It is unfortunate that the timing between the club and the player just doesn't fit. He's 28 years old. I think this is going to be his contract. This is going to be the one that sets up his wife, their future family, the generation of Evans to come. And that I don't know if the Canadians should be on board, Mitch. I'll tell you this. The analytics model told us he was 3 million minimum before the season began. He was like 3 to 3.3 based on models. And then the season played out. He's got 19 points and 7 goals, elite level PK player. I personally believe, without a shred of work experience as an NHL general manager, I think Jake Evans today is a $4 million a year player. And I don't think the Montreal Canadiens should be in the business of giving him hypothetically 20 million over the next 4 years. Again, the timing seems off. I think I could speak for you here. You like watching Jake. You appreciate how hard he works, what he's done to get to this point in his career. But how do you see the Evans Canadians relationship moving forward on the season he's having?
This one's going to go down to the wire,
Ooh,
right?
ooh, 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 ooh.
It's tough. It's tough because, like you said, there's a lot to like about Jake Evans'
Yes.
game.
Yeah.
I think what's it's going to come down to here, Sean, is Jake Evans comfortable enough with the Canadians
Yeah.
that he'll take less to stay in Montreal than play elsewhere? Because if he goes
Yeah.
to market, he's going to definitely get paid more than I'd be willing to pay him. So going to be a 4th-line player when the Canadians are ready to compete. Wins faceoffs, good on the PK, as you mentioned. I don't think he has the scoring touch that he's shown this year. I think this year is going to be an outlier. He's going to hit career highs that he'll never hit again.
Right.
Here's what good managers do. Good managers pay you for what you're going to do, not
Yeah.
for what you've done. And if you start paying players for what they've done, you're going to make big errors. And to me, what Jake Evans has done, especially this year, is going to be the outlier. And if I'm trying to forecast ahead what I see, I can't price him at $4 million a year. It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. And again, I like the player. I have nothing bad to say about Jake Evans. Seems like a good teammate, knows his role, plays really well, having a good season. It's not that I don't like the player, but I would really be penny pinching if I was the Canadians when it comes to that player. I will make mistakes and overpay for top end talent, but I'll never do that for a 4th line player. And $4 million for a 4th line player, to me, way too
Yeah.
much.
He's on 7 goals. He scored 7 goals in 82 games last year. He had 28 points a year ago. He's on 19, as I mentioned. His career high in goals and points is 29 points and 13 goals. That was 3 years ago. And obviously, I mean, the value that he brings on a daily basis, and I don't disagree about the loyalty. I need you to pay for what's coming. And it's unfortunate that he's 28 years old, because otherwise the timing would have been so good. But again, I mean, the team seems to be in another tricky spot in that here you have a player that knows your system. Like, let me throw this hypothetical at you. Would you rather be Jake Evans? You're going to stay in Montreal. You know that maybe for the next 2 years, you're going to be the third C on the team. Let's say Owen Beck will be four, Kapanen sprinkled around here or there. Michael Hage will come eventually. That you're going to have a defined role with the Montreal Canadiens. You're going to be number one PK guy. You know who you are. You know your identity. Whereas, let's say he goes to New Jersey or he goes to Minnesota. He goes to a team that's contending, goes to a team that's going to pay him, but now he's maybe a fourth line guy on the regular. His role isn't as defined as it is in Montreal. I think I might lean towards the defined less money role and my value to a team that appreciates me and will put me in a good spot. Do you think that something like that plays out?
Well, that's why I said. That's why I
Yeah.
said I think this really depends on if Evans is will. I don't know the guy.
Yeah.
I've never spoken to him about this,
But
but
it's his
I think
responsibility to max out, no? Like,
yeah, it is. But sometimes, like you said, the grass isn't always greener on the other side, and more money
yeah.
isn't necessarily going to make you more happy. So like I'm sure there's plenty of other examples of this, but I'll just give you a quick one here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember when Dale Weiss was going to be a unrestricted free agent and was still talking to Montreal. I know they traded him with Fleischman in the Dano deal, one of Mark Bergevin's
Oh,
best
mwah.
trades as GM of the Canadiens. You get Dano and you get Romanov in the same deal, basically. But the
Yeah.
Canadiens could have re-upped Dale Weiss at that time, but Weiss made it known that he was going to test the market. Dale Weiss was a fantastic Montreal Canadian. At times, riding shotgun with Desharnais and Pacioretty,
That's great.
but was
Yeah.
able to move up and down the lineup. Was given a role. Michel Therrien really liked him. Had some great playoff moments with Montreal, and we even saw when he came back, he seemed to get a little bit of life playing back with
Mhm.
the Canadians. He did what was best for his family, and he signed that big ticket in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And in Philly, he didn't fit the same way, and eventually they're trying to push him out of town. And they did. But he made his money, he made his bank. I wonder, and I've spoken to him on occasion since he's
That's a
left the
great comp.
Canadians.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I wonder if he would have taken less now in hindsight, knowing how things worked in Philly, or if he's happy that he maximized his dollars while he was in
Yeah.
the league because everybody has a short amount of time that they can be a professional athlete. I don't know the answer to that, but I do know if I was a player, I'd be weighing it because, sometimes, yeah, the money's great, I'm sure,
Yeah.
but he's still going to make Evans is still going to make a lot of money even if he stays with the Canadians, and maybe being in Montreal, playing for St. Louis, playing with this group that he's been with for a long time will
Yeah.
outweigh, the extra money he might get on the open market.
Okay, so let me ask you. You're Jake Evans, okay? Congratulations, Jake. I'm Ken Hughes. Jake, I'd love for you to stay with the Montreal Canadiens. Jake, here's a 4-year, $12 million deal, Jake.
4-year, $12 million. So you're giving me
Yeah.
three per season.
Yeah. What do you think, Jake? What do you think, Jake? Gun to your
Uh,
head, Jake.
yeah, if you ask me that
Yeah,
right
right now.
now,
Right now.
I might personally be inclined to take the trade, to take
Because
the deal.
okay, because my next, if you were gonna go, I
Because
was
because because
assuming you
Sean,
were gonna ask for
I've I've
more. I was ready to give you more.
I've
I
had a
was ready to
great
give you more.
I've had a great 33 games.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yes.
how the next half of the season is going to go. And Jake
Ah.
Evans, Jake
Ah.
Evans is
Yeah.
also a player who has had injury history.
Yes.
If I'm the Canadians, I'd be wary of that too. I know it's been a while since he's been hurt, but he's had concussions, he's had neck injuries. I'd be
Yeah.
a little bit worried there too. I'd have a
Well, you don't
full.
want you're not cheering for him to get hurt because you want to trade the guy. If you're not going to sign him, obviously you want to
No, no,
trade
no,
him.
no. I'm saying if I'm signing him for 4 years,
Yeah. Oh, I see
I'm
what
I'm,
you mean.
I'm
Gotcha.
taking into
Yeah, yeah.
consideration also. I'm paying a guy a lot of money
Like, what's
to
his
stick around.
value worth on the market?
I
Like
don't
if
know
you
how.
wanted to trade him yesterday, like if let's say the roster freeze wasn't active, you wanted to trade him today.
Mhm.
Like first round minimum. You're getting a first plus something else, right? Like you're getting multiple pieces. You're getting 2 pieces back for Jake Evans, no?
I don't think so.
No? A first and a third?
I don't think you're getting a first.
Get out of here.
I don't think you're getting a first for Jake Evans.
You're telling me a Colorado, a Minnesota, a Vegas wouldn't give you their first for Jake Evans?
What did Monahan go for last year? He
I
went
don't
he
remember.
went he went for a first.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't want to
Monahan's
say it
10
because I
times
wasn't sure.
Monahan's 10 times the player Jake Evans is. I'd take a look at, how reluctant
Whoa,
teams are.
really?
Yeah.
Jake Evans is having a monster season, bro.
I'd take a look at how reluctant teams are to give up firsts, and
Yeah.
I'd take a look at the players that actually go for first. And I don't think Jake Evans is in the category of the players that usually go for first in recent years. Sean, you might be right if this was 8 years ago when teams were a
Yeah.
little bit more willing to part with those
Yeah.
draft picks. I think now teams are afraid to do it, and I don't think you get a first round pick for Jake Evans. Might get a second rounder and a C-level prospect.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to like Arturi Lehkonen, 13 goals, 27 points. 11
Lekin,
goals, 31 points.
so what did
12 goals,
Lehkonen
21 points.
go for? Right, Lehkonen went for a second and a former first.
Yeah, that's right.
No
Like
first round pick in that deal,
I
and
think
Lekkonen's a way better player than Jake Evans.
way better.
Way better.
Way better.
Way
Way
better.
better. I
Yeah.
just read you his numbers.
Well,
They're Jake Evans numbers. They're the same freaking numbers.
from when he was
They're the same
traded.
numbers. Eh?
From when he was traded.
No.
What number?
Look,
This year.
here. No. Arturi Lehkonen is a Canadian, okay?
Yeah.
2018. Start there. 2018, 82 games, 11 goals, 31 points. The year after, 70 games, 13 goals, 27 points. The year after that, 47 games, 13 points.
Okay.
The year after that with Montreal, 58
Yeah.
games, 13 goals. Like, yes, he marginally outscores Jake Evans, but it's not crazy.
Well,
I think Jake Evans could get Arturi Lehkonen type of return.
I don't think so. Let me put it to you like this. So,
Man, I guess I love Jake Evans.
I like Jake Evans too, but listen, Arturi Lehkonen, when he went to Colorado,
yes,
in those playoffs,
yes. Don't give me his
he put-
playoff numbers. He was a beast in his first year.
he put up 8 goals in 20 playoff games, 14 points in 20 playoff games. Do you think Jake Evans could do that in a playoff? I don't.
Well, I'm giving you
And
regular season numbers.
the year after his
Yes.
first full year in Colorado,
Go ahead.
he put up 21 goals in 64 games.
Yeah.
Jake Evans' career high is 13.
Correct.
Like, I don't.
Which Arturi Lehkonen's career high as a Canadian was 18. That was his rookie year. He only got to 13 after that.
Yeah. I think
Arturi. Remember Phil Deneau when he went to LA? Jake Evans could be the third guy. He could go to a new team and he could explode, Mitch.
I don't think so. I think you might like him better than I do.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I'm just trying. Jake Evans, you want me to be your agent? I'm trying, Jake. I'm trying.
I'll tell you this though, for people watching or listening, or seeing a little snippet of this, I'd love to know what people think Jake Evans' value on the trade market would be ahead of the deadline, because you seem to have him pegged a lot higher than I do, and I think if fans feel the way you do, Sean, I think they might be disappointed once Evans is traded.
Dude, I threw out a tweet. Okay. There's so much, one of those guys, Marco D'Amico, got in on the timeline on the tweet, about Jake Evans, and Sean Campbell and I went over it last week. Campbell loves Evans. He's
I know
in.
he does.
I
know. I work with Campbell every day. I know he loves him.
Lock him in, right? Go on the YouTube channel. You'll see a thumbnail with Ken Hughes saying, "Get it done." Right? That's the deal. Like Campbell wants him locked in, right? Like the amount of replies. Like when it comes here with this guy, I feel like you guys have the same exact argument with Arturi Lehkonen. Get him a contract, keep him the first year of the new contract, then trade him after that. Better to trade him in 2 years. It was too early with Lehkonen, but need to do it for Evans. Need veterans to continue to push. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of Montreal needs veterans. Habs are a year away. Evans will be a big playoff performer. Keep him. If all 4 of the free agents walk, that is replacing 2 centers with rookies is not ideal.
That's true.
Arturi Lehkonen vibe, says Andrew. Lock him down, says John. David says, what happened when they let Deneau go? The wheels fell off. That's on my timeline. Just today, Mitch. Just today.
Most of those comments are pretty fair.
Yes, I agree. But and I'll say this to hurt my own argument, you can't fall in love with your own players. You cannot fall in love. He is not a superstar. I'll let you fall in love with Connor McDavid. I can't let you fall in love with Jake Evans if there's another team that loves him more than you do.
100% how I feel.